Another question that I'm asked very often is, but what a circulator is different from another pump? Yeah, actually this is a good question because these two pumps, they are both circulator, even so different each other, but they have a common technology that make them different from all the other pump. This technology that makes the difference is the wet rotor. Actually, these pumps have the motor here, the rotor actually, that is wetted from the water that passes through the wet end. So what happens? Water in, water out, the impeller inside is pushing and giving pressure to this water, but a little part of this water go through the shaft. There is not any mechanical seal. This is on purpose because we want the water to reach the back part of the motor to cool it down and to let the motor to dissipate the heat generated by the magnetic field. Okay, you have to know that circulator are low power pumps, so they don't need to dissipate a lot of heat. So just a little bit of water passing through can remove that heat and allow the pump to work for a long time. As you can see, there is not a fan on the top of the motor here. There is not a cooling fan, and this makes a difference compared to the other booster pump that you are used to see out there. Okay. For this point, the fact that it's wet rotor circulator, you have to remember that this type of installation with the vertical shaft of the pump is completely wrong. Forget it, this is not the right way to install the pump. Pump must always be like that, with the shaft of the pump horizontal to the ground. This allows the water to pass through the wet end to the motor, not against the gravity, and this is the flow, and in this way the pump will be durable. Otherwise the pump can fail in a very early stage. So this is crucial, important. Okay, so we say this is pump installed in a proper way. What about if I have a vertical pipe? Can I install the pump this way? Of course not. So I will put the pump this way, and it's still fine. Vertical pipe, shaft horizontal to the floor, to the ground, okay? The only position to avoid is exactly this one that we use at the beginning to show you the pump. So forget it. Actually, I will do that so you won't be wrong anymore. Well, if you check this circulator that is way smaller than this one, as you can see, here is the motor just behind this black shell, and the shaft here would be horizontal to the ground. So it's good for a vertical pipe. If it is an horizontal pipe, we can do this, and then it's possible to rotate this circulator 90 degrees. So I unscrew this little screw that we can see here. I unscrew, and I can rotate this part 90 degrees to have it the display vertical on me. Okay, little tips to have a proper installation of a circulator. Remember, these are the crucial importance. Vertical shaft horizontal to the ground. Now, also another thing that you can notice on this pump is this brass screw that we can find here on top of the motor. This screw is actually an access to the motor. I can air bleed the circuit from the screw, just unscrewing a little bit, air is going out, because actually this part and the wet end are actually in contact through the shaft. Water is passing through, so if there is some air, the air collected here at the end of the motor, and I can use this screw for air bleeding. And another useful thing of this screw is that I can use it to unlock the shaft of the pump when the pump doesn't operate, for example, for a few months, and the impeller can get stuck into the case here because some lime scale that keep the shaft blocked, right? So this is a good reason to have a screw in here, and is a good characteristic that is always appreciated for this type of pump. But here, that we have an Evo Plus, that is a more modern type of circulator, we don't have any screw on top of the motor, as you can see, but we have a black shell. So what is the difference? This is a variable frequency driver electronic card that is actually driving the pump at different speed, while this pump is a 3-speed pump only with a switch inside here. In this pump with the variable frequency driver, the operation of air bleeding and the operation of unlocking the shaft is managed electronically by the pump. How? When you start the pump after a long time where the pump is not working, the inverter is capable to understand that the shaft is not rotating because it doesn't see any power absorption through the motor. So you understand to increase the torque to the maximum rate, and that is enough to actually give the shaft a spin and to let it operate for the first time. While for air bleeding, the inverter has the capability to understand that when there is air in the circuit, it rotates the impeller at the maximum speed, and that can ease to evacuate the air that is accumulated in here through the pipeline, through the next air bleed that is on the pipeline. So having an inverter on the pump is a big advantage, not only for energy saving and flexibility, but also to help you during the installation, because the electronic management can avoid you some little tasks that otherwise are necessary. So we have seen the importance of having a brass plug in here for the two reasons I told you, unlocking the shaft and air bleeding. But as you can see, this pump doesn't have the screw here, the brass screw. So how do we manage with those two operations? You don't have to worry about that because this is an electronic pump. This is an Evo Plus with a variable frequency driver where the inverter actually manages the two operations. When it's time to unlock the shaft, it can increase the torque, the starting torque of the pump to the maximum rate. So that's actually enough to give the pump the first rotation and to unlock it after a long period of inactivity. And about the air bleeding, it can be prevented by accelerating the impeller to the maximum speed that helps the air to be mixed to the water and to be evacuated to the pipeline. So constant speed circulator, crucially important for the brass screw. Electronic circulator is self-managing and you don't have to worry about that.